Hi you guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'll be showing you how to make a braised buttered lamb chop with a crushed tomato and cream sauce that I love, and I'm going to top the fettuccine with some zucchini, some mushroom, and some parmesan. I promise you this is such a simple recipe, but it'll be anybody you cook this for favorite dish. First, I'm gonna start with some lamb chops that I got from Sam's Club for about $7.24 a pound. I got shy of 2 pounds. I got these because they were already off the bone and they just were a great deal. So I'm gonna wash these, prepare these to be seasoned. I also have a clove of garlic, 2 Roma tomatoes, zucchini, a green pepper that's from the garden, and a banana pepper. As far as herbs are concerned, I'm going to use some cilantro. I washed it off, and some parsley that's in the fridge. I also have an onion that I'm going to use and a shallot. I don't know why I didn't get that in the video, but you'll see it later on. So I'm going to start with a quarter of an onion. This is a large onion, so I'm going to say about a third of a regular onion. Here you see me peeling it off, preparing it to get cut up. I use the outside skin sometimes in my pasta water for extra flavor, but you really don't have to if it's been in the refrigerator because it gets a little bit soggy. So as you see, I cut it in half. Half of this is going to be for the fettuccine sauce with the crushed tomatoes, and the other half is going to be for the lamb chop reduction that I'm going to make in my cast iron skillet. Here you'll see me opening the shallot. It's pretty fresh, so you see I have to apply some pressure to it to get it open. To get it peeled, it's just like peeling an onion pretty much. It's not that difficult, and I'm gonna cut this up for the crushed tomato sauce that I'm going to use for the fettuccine. I'm going to cut it up very small and also combine it with the pieces for the onion. They're all going to go in the skillet together. The parsley, the cilantro, the shallots, the onion, and also some garlic that I'm going to peel as well. I'm going to show you guys how to peel the garlic. It's so simple. All you have to do is put your butcher knife on it, smash it down, and then it'll be easy to peel afterwards. So here I'm picking through some sage that I got from Walmart. I'm making sure that I get the greenest parts, the best part, to go with the rosemary for the lamb. I'm going to cut it up with the parsley and the cilantro to get a good aromatic, buttery, braised lamb. So I'm going to chop this stuff up. You see the small amount that I have to the side with the onions and the shallots that's prepared for the skillet for the butter sauce for the fettuccine. So now that I have the herbs all chopped up, I'm going to peel the garlic. Like I said, I smashed it with the thickest part of my knife, and that's how I was able to get the shell off. It comes off very easily once you do that, especially if they're fresh. So I only need about 3 cloves for the sauce for the fettuccine, and I need about 3 cloves as well, small cloves for the lamb. And I'm gonna cut the garlic up very fine, but not julienne it. I like the chunks to mush around so I can smash them when I'm smashing the tomatoes in the pan to make the sauce. So next up is the zucchini. I don't like the butt part, so I'm just gonna discard of that. I'm gonna cut it up in about finger width slices, and then I'm gonna cut those in the middle to be half circles. I like them kind of chunky, but you know, it's your pasta. You cut it up however you want to cut it up. Then after the zucchinis all cut up in the slices, I'm gonna cut up my small little green pepper. I think it's like a jalapeno, but I'm not too sure. And then I'm gonna cut up the banana pepper as well. Only half of it. This is gonna go with the braised lamb chop to give it a natural spice that you know, is very aromatic and has more taste buds than just using regular pepper. On the left side, I have the cilantro, the sage, the rosemary, and the peppers for the lamb. And on the right side, I have the shallots, the garlic, the parsley, the cilantro, and the zucchini So all while I'm cutting this up, I have the water boiling because it takes longer for the water to boil for the pasta than actually cooking the pasta. And I season that with a couple of the onion peels and just some pepper, and it helps the pasta not stick to each other. So now I'm going to prepare the lamb to go in the refrigerator to marinate while I'm preparing the sauces and the pasta. This is my lazy girl method. I usually marinate it overnight, but I started it with some calendar seasoning. I don't know how much exactly I use. I just wait till the ancestors tell me to stop or until the meat is already completely coated with seasoning. The next seasoning I'm going to be using is ground cumin. It's organic and it was about $2 at Walmart, which is really a good deal because Trader Joe's is like $4. And afterwards, I'm going to season it with some liquid smoke. I got this from Publix. I'm only going to use a capful because it's very powerful. And this pretty much gives the lamb a smoky flavor as if it was on the grill. The last thing I have to cut up is some tomatoes. I'm using it in the sauce, so they're going to be chunky pieces. And I'll show you why later on, but the chunky pieces allow me to crush them to create a thicker sauce without adding flour. Also, I would like to mention that I left the fat on the lamb. I trimmed it some, but I left it around because the fat has so much flavor that it'll help the lamb not be overcooked as well in a cast iron skillet. Now I'm going to get to my favorite part, which is the actual cooking part. So I'm going to start with a non-stick skillet for the sauce. As you can see, my pasta water is already boiling, and I'm going to use some olive oil. I'm going to say it's about a good half a cup, and I'm going to use 3 tablespoons of butter to melt them together. So the butter is going to have the rich taste, and the olive oil is what's going to help everything become a blended melody as far as the fresh herbs. So that's why I use both. I don't get these too hot enough to start to have a heat point to where it would fry the vegetables. I have it to where it'll be able to saute. So basically a medium heat. So now I'm going to take a tasting spoon and swirl the butter in the olive oil to make sure they have a perfect mesh together. I don't want butter on one side and olive oil on the other side, so I want them properly mixed together. I'm going to check on my pasta water even though it's boiling, but I don't want my pasta to be overcooked. I want it to be done at a certain time so you know it won't be sitting around as well. So that's why I haven't put the pasta in the water. You don't want the pasta to get done and then your sauce is not ready, so it's just going to sit on the side. So this sauce is not going to take that long, so that's why I went ahead and put them in there for 12 minutes. I'm also going to add some olive oil and some sea salt to the water to also prevent the pasta from sticking together because I put a lot in this small pot. I'm using about 3/4 box of the fettuccine. I love the linguine. I usually use that or penne noodles or bow tie noodles depending on what I'm making. But I wanted this to be able to have a rich flavor and the noodles to truly absorb the sauce that I'm making. So I'm gonna let the pasta sit for the amount of time and stir it as needed. Now I'm adding the shallots, the garlic, the tomato, and the onion in the skillet. I'm gonna add more tomatoes, but I'm just showing you how thick the pieces are right now and that the fire is not hot. It's just that these two oils are still melting together. I'm gonna add in my parsley as well. That's gonna add the rich flavor and the cilantro. So I'm going to stir these all in together, make sure they get a nice meshing And I'm gonna put the top back on it and let it cook down for about 5 minutes or so. I just want the tomatoes to get soft enough to smash down before I start adding the cream and building the sauce. Now here I'm going to add about another 2 tablespoons of butter because I'm going to be adding um some cream soon, but I'm also going to be adding more tomatoes. I do this so I can have multiple textures. So I have very soft tomatoes that crush down into the sauce, and then I have just regular cooked tomatoes as well that's going to, be served as a vegetable in the pasta instead of the actual sauce. So now, as you see, I'm stirring it down. I have more tomatoes in there, and in a couple minutes they're going to be ready to be able to smash down. So I'll say the cooking time for the sauce so far has been about 10 minutes with all of the parsley, tomatoes, shallots, and onions. I took the pasta away to drain it. I'm going to also start up my skillet for the lamb. It doesn't take it long to cook. I like mine more of medium well, so it won't take up nothing more than about 5 minutes per side. So in the cast iron skillet, I have my 2 tablespoons of butter again, and this time it's unsalted butter because it's so much seasoning on the lamb. I didn't want it to have a very salty taste. I want it to be rich. And I'm now crushing the tomatoes in the skillet for the pasta sauce, and you see how soft they get, and you can just kind of beat them down until you get your desired texture of sauce. I like mine very smooth and creamy, so I'm going to crush mine down really fine here with my sauce spoon. Now, for just a little extra flavor, I put a squeeze of lemon. That's a quarter piece of lemon. I'm also going to use it for the lamb too, but I only use the lemon to break up the butter before I put the cream in the skillet as well. So here I'm going to add about a cup of heavy whipping cream. You also can use half and half if it's unsweetened. I like heavy whipping cream because it's thicker than half and half. So now I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper in it. I like spicy stuff, so I'm probably going to recommend, if you like on the spicier side, a tablespoon and a half. I also added some Creole seasoning, and I'm just going to mix it in and continue to crush the tomatoes as desired until I get it to thick enough to where it's like an Alfredo texture. Next, it's time to add my vegetables. So I'm going to add about a half a cup of mushroom. This is about a cup of zucchini that I sliced up earlier as well. And I have a few onions in it and a little bit of parsley in it. Now I'm going to mix these in, get it completely covered with the sauce, and cook this down for about 5 to 6 minutes while I work on the sauce that I'm going to do with the lamb. So here I'm just doing a little cleaning up. Don't mind me. I just do not stand a dirty stove while I'm trying to cook. As you see in the far right, my butter is still melting down for the lamb. I have it on a low heat. I don't want it to have a flash point and get to where the when I put the meat in the skillet it's too hot. Lamb is a very delicate meat that you just really don't want to mess up when you're cooking. I'm going to add some more cream to the skillet as well for the sauce, about another half a cup. With the finishing touches, and the orange seasoning that you see me seasoning with is a zazoon. It's found in the multicultural section, usually where the Hispanic foods are. And I'm going to put the lid back on this and give it some more cooking time for the vegetables to get a little softer. I like my zucchini to have some crunch to it, but still have some softness to it. I really like that cooked texture of zucchini, but I don't like it to where it's sweltering or overcooked. Now the cast iron skillet, I'm going to add all my herbs that I cut up earlier, and I'm going to get them nice and soft. I don't want these to be overcooked, but at the same time, you want the aroma to fully get in the lamb. And I promise you, it smells like heaven in my kitchen right now. So I'm going to cook those down for about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm also going to add some more butter to it so the lamb can have some sauce while I'm cooking it. I want to be able to scoop the butter and the herbs on top of the lamb while it's getting cooked. So in total, the sauce has cooked about 20 minutes. The vegetables are to my desired texture. I'm going to add it to the pasta. You see it's boiling. It's a nice, rich texture. My mushrooms are soft. They're ready. My tomatoes, everything's ready. So it's time to dump it into the pot and get the pasta fully mixed together and just sit it. I'm going to leave it on the eye, but the eye will be turned off because I do not want the pasta to get mushy and overcooked. So I'm just going to mix this in really good, clean up some, and get to the lamb chops. Now it's all about the lamb chops. The pasta is out the way, but remember, do not leave the fire on because this pasta can go south really quick. You can cook all the moisture out of the cream. You also can overcook the pasta, and now you just wasted 30 minutes of your life, and your pasta is disgusting. Over in the cast iron skillet, I'm going to squeeze some lemon juice, some fresh lemon juice. If you don't have a fresh lemon, I would say about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I'm going to squeeze in the cast iron skillet, and then I'm going to add the lamb chops. I did sit them out for a couple minutes, but I didn't take them straight from the refrigerator because you don't want cold meat absolutely in a hot skillet. That's for disaster, and that's what causes you not to get a good caramelization on the skin of the meat. I'm also going to add some more onions to the top because I love onions in meats like this, especially in the cast iron skillet. It gives a great flavor to the meat, and I'm going to move over the camera so you can see up close how the lamb is looking and how I'm going to scoop the juices from the meat that I have on top to keep the browning process happening. So now I'm flipping over the lamb. They have a great caramelization on the bottom side. You see the way the butter is fizzling up with the seasoning. Like, oh my God, like I know before even tasting it, it's gonna be fire. It's gonna be epic because look at the way that baby is browning, and that's without putting a lid on it. Now I'm gonna cook this side for 5 minutes, and I'm gonna scoop the onions and the other seasoning on top of the meat to give it even more juiciness and flavor. If you want yours more than medium rare, you can always, or medium well, you can always add the top to the skillet while you're doing this, and it'll help cook the inside more. But I know I like the juiciness of the medium well, so that's why I cook it without the top on it. So my lamb are almost done, and oh my God, it smells like heaven. It's having a cookout. Lord, look at that buttery sauce that's gonna go on top of the lamb when I'm done cooking. Like, get into this sauce. You see, I have the peppers from earlier in there. I have the onion in there. I have all my seasonings, and this is about to be bomb. Like, I cannot wait, oh God, to taste this lamb. Cut the fire off. The lamb is done, and here I'm just showing you the parmesan that I added from the top. I got this from the deli section in Walmart as well. I don't do a lot of expensive grocery shopping. I just use the resources that I have to top it off to add more flavor and texture to the pasta. Lastly, here's my just like lazy girl salad. It's cut up tomato and onion that I had from the pasta that I didn't use, pico romano cheese, and avocado with romaine. That's it. And get into this plate, honey. Lord. I paired it with a red wine that I got on sale for $3. It's some really good wine. I'm just going to show you guys the label because I can't really pronounce it, and I'm going to leave it at that. And that's all I have for this recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video for my lamb and crushed tomato fettuccine. Follow me on Instagram at Ariel the Great if you have any questions about investing or cooking or budgeting. Subscribe for good vibes. Peace, love, and blessings to anyone who ever comes to my channel and who will ever see this video.